Hi, I heard that y'all like to listen to strangers talk for extended periods of time, so I'm gonna add my voice into the mix. Welcome to Rageful Observations. Prepare yourself, this will be triggering. I opened a new social media app and I saw news from news sources, and I started wondering if they were truthful or not, and then I started thinking about how we're all being lied to because our major news outlets are run by a cesspool of people, families, and companies who just love, love, love our misery. Nom, nom, nom. Eat it up, turning our suffering into their profit. I mean, I would like to nominate our kleptocracy as the greatest scam in all of human history. I really think we could make it. The relationship between a government and its citizens is supposed to be a symbiotic one. Instead, our tax money is wielded to perpetuate genocide in this ridiculous parasitic bullshit we call our experience as Americans. We supposedly have the strongest military in the world. But I invite you to leave a comment telling me whether or not you trust fast food meat. Across our nation, with multiple locations in cities and towns from coast to coast, meat of all kinds of animals, meat of dogs, and meat of other human beings is mashed up together, treated with chemicals so the smell doesn't ring any alarm bells, and distributed to us. Why? We were just hungry. You could have grown some more fruits and vegetables. There was no need to involve all of us in casual cannibalism. Give these people healthy pieces of earth? No, 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 our overlords say. That will extend our lifespans beyond what's profitable. We need people to pass within about 2 decades of retirement, if they make it to that age at all. Now I invite us all to think about how much it costs to have a funeral, how much it costs to get sick or have chronic illness. All these carcinogens in our food, and there's certainly a hefty price tag for treating cancer. What an interesting pattern. Death, something that each of us will do at some point, has been made into a full-blown capitalist industry. It is expensive to die, to have a funeral, to be mourned. We gotta be compliant or the economy might collapse. Who's gonna run the country if everyone on the Epstein list goes to jail? Huh? Epstein. Okay, let's get into it. One of the pathways in a popular park I walk is set up so you have to walk extremely close to a playground that often has very young kids playing on it. I mean, it's kind of popular, and the path is also pretty high traffic. And yet walking along there, I could put my eyeballs on other people's kids, and I'm not employed to take care of them, nor am I approaching the playground with my own little dependent. And that whole thing creeps me out. Like the whole setup of it creeps me out. I get nervous about what kinds of people could be walking along the trail with such easy visual access to our vulnerable children. My fellow citizens, we have a problem. Unspeakable things are done here, and they make all of us get involved. Because if the pedophilia wasn't off-putting enough, let's talk about the genocide they have all of our money wrapped up in. I have the privilege of being able to buy things that make my life enjoyable. So the other day, I go out to buy some supplements. But as soon as I get in the store, I get this overwhelming sense of guilt because I had done some research and I knew that the store had corporate overlords who held a large percentage of their shares. So already I have this nagging feeling about knowing that if I spend my money here, then I'm going to help keep them rich. I'm going to help keep my oppressors rich. And I'm here because I don't know where else to buy the supplement. So then I go, just trying to suppress all my guilt. I find what I'm looking for, and the nail in the coffin is the price. You want me to pay how much? And I get how much? Oh, no. I'll just buy it online. Never mind. Even with the shipping, I'll get a better deal. And I'll be free of the guilt of funding these freaking genocidal maniacs. I'm going to keep my money and my labor away. Thank you very much. This is unacceptable. We aren't safe. Our kids are not safe. Our unhealed trauma is morphing us into our own enemy. We getting tricked, traumatized, and brainwashed into either being enablers or perpetuators. And there's so much more to life than this lesser of two evils bullshit. Tricked, traumatized, and brainwashed into becoming perpetuators. I had a boyfriend in high school who was from a quote-unquote bad neighborhood. We're going to circle around back to that in a minute. But he had an incredibly abusive mother. I mean, she was severely unstable. He told me about a time when he was a little boy and him and his mother were kidnapped together in broad daylight, raped in a van in front of each other, and then dumped into bumblefuck wherever they were when the rapists were done. And I can't imagine what else that woman had been through to make her the way that she was, but she was not well, and she took it out on her kids. Sometimes I could hear her over the phone with him. She was so verbally abusive, and she would fly off the handle at the drop of a dime. And I think over the course of our relationship, I became like his little token, his little like skin girlfriend. It's gonna cry for him and be sad for him and take care for him and give him kisses. And eventually, at some point along the way, he felt so entitled to me that he just started stalking me. And it's true that he did not deserve the abuse that he got. It's true that he deserved loving relationships. But it's also true that I did not deserve the abuse that I got from him. And what set that whole cycle in play? Lack of safety. Lack of safety. Strongest military in the world, supposedly. And we got human traffickers rolling in the dough, performing these services. Snatch 'em, rape 'em, dump 'em. And now we're really getting to the root of what makes me angry. It's not just my trauma from my own encounters with human traffickers. I would have preferred to have been the last generation of American children who grew up in such dire circumstances. I could have been okay with that, but no. I have 7 years of experience teaching or assisting in STEM classes in high schools in 3 different states in this country. And I prefer to stick with my Title I's, which is basically a politically correct way of saying I worked in the hood. Where the hood, where the hood, where the hood. And I can see, I'm watching my students mold to the pressure of growing up in such dire circumstances. It's making them into dangerous people because that's what they had to do to survive. According to the International Labor Organization, global human trafficking generates $236 billion worldwide. The Americas region takes $52 billion of that cut. It's 22%. That's more than a fifth of global human trafficking. Who's getting trafficked? Youth Underground, which is a trademark Swiss nonprofit dedicated to fighting human trafficking, found that the U.S. accounts for 52% of global human trafficking, with sex trafficking of minors accounting for the largest percentage. Whose kids are they trafficking? Let you be born in the gutter of America. Your lesser of two evils are to traffic or to be trafficked. And the rest of the country got their nose turned up at you. They don't like our violence. They don't like our clothes. They don't like our music. They don't like how we talk. Those people. But let's not leave out the natives. Let's not leave out the poor white kids. Those people. So prickly. So unpleasant. You know what? Get raped when you're walking home from school and listen to a stranger tell you how peachy and pleasant and compliant you're supposed to be. I'll wait. America never put down slavery. They use the media to build a lie and convince everyone to degrade and ignore the people who are surviving the worst parts of us. Now, all these reports and statistics and numbers and paper completely detach the protectors from the vulnerable. We can't see each other. We're all citizens of the same nation. We can't see each other. We're having completely different experiences of what it means to be an American, what it means to have access to opportunity. You got people saying everyone has equal opportunity. You can always pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And these same people are turning their noses up to the people who were born in war zones. What else do you call gang violence, huh? How else do you describe the violence of drug trade other than as war? People are born in places no one cares to look at, shaped by an environment that requires violence to get the money, to get the food, to fill the belly. What else were you going to do, kid? Don't have any other options. So quick to cast disappointment on my students when they join a gang, but who was protecting them when they had to choose between getting sold into enslavement or becoming the enslaver? Oh my God. My students sometimes becoming so adept to their dangerous environments, my coworkers are scared of them. And they're not even 18 yet. Where am I supposed to put them? Foster care? I met a girl at camp one summer. She was from Rancho Cucamonga, California. 15 years old when we met. She was in a all-girls home. And she was telling me, my God, the kids were doing heinous things to each other. I'm talking sodomy with a toilet brush heinous. Where are the adults? Who is protecting these kids? Who is guiding them? Who is disciplining them? My dad was in the foster care system. Him and 3 of his brothers and sisters were in a home together with a family that did not care about them, took the kids in for a check, spent the bare minimum to not be labeled as abusive. Growing up in that environment, oh yeah, my dad's brother tried to kill him. His own kin. Kids left to fend for themselves, watching the adults who are supposed to be taking care of them completely disregard them or endanger them for profit. Those kids become as malicious as their environments. Keep us untrusting. Keep us guarded. We'll throw anyone under the bus to get what we want because that's what was done to us. What set the cycle in motion? Lack of safety. Strongest military in the world. You know what? If you work in child protection and you know some inspiring stories or reliable foster care networks in your area, please leave a comment. We need some inspiration. I need inspiration. We need an example to follow and amplify. Strongest military in the world, and our kids are not safe. The middle and upper class lost their illusion of safety when their kids were casually exposed to opioid addiction. Yeah, your kid gets hurt doing kid things, running, playing, jumping. They fall, they break a bone or something. Or maybe they got to go under surgery. I don't know. Maybe it's time to get their wisdom teeth. I don't know. You take your child to a doctor. a specialist, a healer. You're told to trust them, that they have your best interests at heart, that they're going to make everything better. And they're taking checks from pharmaceutical companies to give your kids painkillers with opioids in them. These med school bills not gonna pay themselves. I did a search, my little AI summary pulled data from American Academy of Pediatrics, the National Institute of Health, and the Journal of Adolescent Health. What was found? Dentists and surgical subspecialists are the leading prescribers of opioids for minors. Dentists account for 34.8% of prescriptions, and surgical subspecialists account for 23.7% of prescriptions. Pediatricians account for 2% of prescriptions. This is all opioid prescriptions to minors. What else have we found? 45.6% of prescriptions in 2019 were considered high risk due to the fact that these kids were given more than a 3-day supply. 45.6%. Get this, 8.4% of prescriptions for children ages 0 to 11 in 2019 were for codeine or tramadol. Over 88% of all opioid prescriptions for minors were given to kids ages 10 to 19. The other 12% is going to kids ages 3 to 9. But my whole problem is, why are kids getting prescribed opioids at all? The over-the-counter things were working just fine. And you want to know why? Our overlords want them addicted early. Of course. Researchers found that the use of prescription opioids in high school is linked to a 33% increase. 33% increased risk of future abuse. 33%. They want us dysfunctional and addicted, a corporate pharmaceuticals favorite. Because whether you're getting your opioids legally or illegally, you still getting them. Yeah. The overlords keep using little puppets to keep the trafficking going. Let's read this little headliner. On December 1st, 2025, our president granted a full and complete pardon to former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez, who had been convicted in 2024 for conspiring to import over 400 tons of cocaine into the United States. 400 tons? My, USA. Why would we be cool with all that cocaine coming into our nation? What you doing with all those illegal drugs? What's going on? I'm curious. I want to know. Lord have mercy. Thanks for listening to Rageful Observations, and thank God we're living in a time where we have the tools to be very observant and very specific about exactly who is doing what. I look forward to the inevitable shift in power because we're too strong for our kids to be this unsafe. What a wonderful time to be alive.